Of course, that the actual month of October is going to be really big, really important, and really interesting when it comes to you, my gorgeous Taurus, indeed. Not only because October in general is a highly powerful month when it comes to our own spirituality. We slowly start drifting like into a slightly different dimension from the very 1st of October 2021, and by the time we get to the actual last part of October, this energy is going to intensify like there is no tomorrow. So basically it's going to start on the 1st of October. As we are getting closer and closer to the actual 31st of October, the energy is going to be more intense in terms of understanding, in terms of us feeling our feet very strongly on the ground. But this is going to be very beneficial for us because we are going to become aware of something very sacred in our lives, something really important in our lives. And especially when it comes to you, my gorgeous Taurinis, it is the period and the stage in particular in between the 15th of October and the 31st of October, my Lord. It's all about an important realization. Your eyes are going to be open, but most importantly, it's all about the future opportunities ahead that you weren't aware of, or maybe you just didn't give it enough importance, you see. So this is something really significant that is going to play an important role when it comes to you, and most certainly the month of October is going to be playing a significant role when it comes to this particular change in your life. My name is Sasha Bonasin and I'm a psychic medium, and this is your monthly horoscope tarot card reading, and it's for you, my gorgeous Taurini, Taurus, and it's for October 2021. So this monthly horoscope tarot card focus, it's for you, my gorgeous Taurus, and it's for October 2021. When it comes to the actual numerology, your number is 1505. Now this number, I have seen this number before. This is really important number, but it's also having a very strong indication. It's bringing very powerful energy with itself, but also very strong indication about you will become aware of completely of this new the future, of the future. It's a lot to do with your future that you're going to understand this month. It's a lot to do with the future planning that you're going to become aware of, but then again at the same time it's about these opportunities ahead that I've already mentioned. This is very, very significant time in your life because you're also going to become aware of the certain events that you should most certainly not ignore. So there are the certain events that that maybe you will kind of be invited to, but it's a rather challenging situation that is going to arise almost instantly because something is just going to be keep on kind of bringing you down in terms of responding to these particular events. So this is all part of the progress, part of the spiritual process, part of this change that you will be going through. And when you reach this stage of your life, when you're reaching this important circle, of course that you have this little bit of like a testing and the challenging situations that you are going to have. So you just have to trust yourself. Do not let anything to put you off whatsoever. If you want to do something, if you want to head a certain direction, you must not kind of take any kind of outside events or things that are happening around you. You must not let this to affect you. This is very important indeed. So when I mentioned certain events, just try to throw yourself into all sorts of opportunities. Try to inspect as much as you can around you. Try to kind of read as much as you possibly can. Try to gather try to gather more information, because the more information you gather, throughout the month of October, you're gonna find it mind-blowing how much you're gonna be able to understand that you weren't able to understand only in September or only in August. And this is what this wonderful energy is going to actually bring you, because we just become become part of this wonderful dimension, but then on another hand, you know, it's all about drifting into all sorts of like parts of the universe that we are kind of like in all the time, but we may not be aware of. And this month is going to bring you an awareness, important awareness. On another hand, you know, it's about these future opportunities ahead. You know, this is very important to say that also at the same time, you know, you're gonna become aware like of the actual motivation. Somebody in your life is just gonna kind of like really happen at the right moment and the right time, and it's gonna be mind-blowing because it's gonna surprise you, almost as if like you're gonna think like, oh my god, that particular specific person is so psychic, that particular person is so intuitive, because they will say something to you and this person mean to you so much, and you're gonna find it mind-blowing. How did that person know this? How did they know that you felt like this? But this in itself, it's also going to bring you a miraculous a little shake up, because it's not about them being psychic as such, it's not about them being as intuitive as such, but it's about you, the way you're gonna feel and the way you're gonna get this particular confirmation. You know, it's pretty much so it's gonna match kind of a doubt that you had and the crossroads that you have found yourself at. So that specific person in your life is just going to come out of the blue, and it's going to tell you something, and it's going to completely match with what you were thinking at the time, and then this is going to bring you like an absolutely ridiculously powerful confirmation. Very personal, but very important when it comes to the next step, very important when it comes to this powerful influence that you're going to feel almost instantly, you know, the motivation, you know, and that in itself is going to split into two different things. On one hand, you're gonna learn exactly how to ignore like the little bit of a devilish person in your life, you know, somebody rather devilish. This person may not be directly connected to you and your life, but it had like a probably very negative impact and influence on you. So you're gonna become aware of that person, but you're also gonna become aware of the fact exactly how should you protect your energy. In other words, it's all about you removing yourself from the situation, from the person, from the maybe group of people that no longer serve you. So this is really important. So this is the first thing, is that you're going to naturally like remove yourself from the devilish situation that no longer serve you. On another hand, this is all about the actual basically, you know, at the same time, what is going to happen very interestingly, that you're going to become aware of the certain materialistic gain. And now this is going to be really, and why do I say this? Because that is going to be your specific sign that very soon after that materialistic gain you become aware of, that it might even came with a little element of surprise, but it's still going to be good, of course. Then this is going to also be your sign that, you know, you need to pay attention to your desire, because almost immediately you're going to become very determined. And now that determination, it's all about you really moving on with your life and realizing how much did you maybe allow the negativity and negative energy to take over, which is nothing unusual, but it's all about the timing and how long we're going to actually allow this energy to take the better of us by draining us out. It's like, you know, it's important because it's going to help you to realize how powerful you are, and that you are the only one who can actually help to yourself. You're the only one who you should actually listen to when it comes to your intuition. And you know, I'm going to say it again and I'm going to repeat again, it's very important that if something doesn't make sense to you, then you just move away from that situation, you move away from that person. When something doesn't make sense to you, why would you be doing this? You see, but the energy was just so shallow lately that it makes people are kind of a little bit drifting all over the place, and people just lose their own confidence when this is happening, because they find themselves being very disorientated. So this is what I want you to understand, that this is going to be so important. So at the time when you become aware of the materialistic gain, which is going to happen roughly at around the October 2021, this is also going to be your strong sign and your strong indication that you're reaching a very important stage, which is going to happen within the next few days after that. And that stage is about a sudden desire desire that you're gonna have, you know, so sudden desire, a sudden feeling of like a very kind of like a positive and inspiring emotions, which are going to make you very, very determined, which is going to increase your strong willpower. And now that in itself, it's going to create the certain goal. This is so important, this goal, to actually pay attention to. And it's to do with you being yourself, it's to do with your uniqueness, it's to do with you allowing yourself to be yourself, but also sometimes you just have to do things a little bit differently. Like, for example, like especially when it comes to that particular goal, you know, and that particular goal is pretty much so going to be highlighted on the 30th and the 31st of October 2021 so much, because specifically on the 30th and the 31st of October, you're gonna have this news, this information that is just gonna really put so much light on like unknowingness in your life, which is going to match this actual goal that I'm talking about. It's about a very, very kind of intelligent choice, but at the same time it's to do with your desire, and also it's to do with your own will, which is almost immediately going to refresh you, re-energize you, and you will know exactly which part of your life you need to kind of avoid, well, in fact, to cut out, because it's all about the adjustment and the little sacrifice that you're going to need to make. But then at the same time, this is going to be connected to the very important resolution in your life as well. I really like it indeed, and this is an important time. On another hand, somebody, again, I've seen this again, my gorgeous Taurinis, this is because people in your life mean to you so much, you see, and the reason why I say this is somebody's going to reach out to you, and somebody who means to you so much, somebody who's so important to you, like a family member or a friend, they are going to really surprise you this month by, again, contacting you, or maybe letting you know that very soon there is going to be an important connection in between you and that person. Perhaps you just drifted away for a while, drifted apart for a while, or perhaps, you know, you just haven't seen them in a really long time. But however, you know, this is going to feel really, really good. But also, on another hand, that specific person in your life is also going to be having an incredible message for you, and that message is almost immediately going to kind of help you to reconnect with yourself. It's going to rejuvenate you in terms of wanting to have an adventure. If you feel like you want to have an adventure throughout the actual October, you most certainly should just go for it, because there is going to be certain moments in time that you are actually going to have, and specifically you need to pay attention to the last 11 days of October, because it's all about this adventure that you're going to find yourself at, and you are also on another hand really going to surprise yourself, and there it's going to be very interesting emotion that is going to come out, and that emotion is almost immediately going to become a strong sense of direction, what you should do. It is all going to make sense to you like there is no tomorrow, my gorgeous Taurinis, indeed. When it comes to your health, I strictly and strongly yet again recommend something to boost your immune system. So of course that I'm going to recommend you organic camu camu powder, or organic camu camu capsules, or organic acerola cherry powder, or organic acerola cherry capsules, because these two supplements are so high in vitamin C. Like, it's wonderful how high they are in vitamin C, and it's natural as well, so it's brilliant. On another hand, I would also strongly recommend to take natural zinc, and also I would strongly recommend natural vitamin D as well. Even if you are exposed to the sun, I would still recommend a natural supplement, an additional vitamin D, if you can possibly put in your body, because it's going to help you so much. And once you start taking this wonderful and super powerful combination, then you will see how much this is actually going to reflect on your life as well. If you're on any other medications, if you're pregnant, or if you're breastfeeding, you just need to check with your doctor, you just need to check with your GP. Only your doctor or GP can tell you whether this can interact with your existing medications, my gorgeous Taurinis, or not. So now, going on the very first date of October, that is going to be quite important, is the 5th of October. The 5th of October, you know, you're going to become aware of the certain, like a maybe cruelty You're going to become aware of the certain conflict, you know, and this conflict is going to make you realize how selfish maybe somebody is. This is going to open your eyes, but then again, it's going to kind of like be almost like scandalous a little bit, because it's just all about a certain dishonesty which is going to be revealed. Now, this is important to you in so many different ways. On one hand, you're going to be a little bit surprised, but then on another hand, you will see when you put 2 and 2 together, you will know it equals 4. So this is exactly what I'm trying to say here. It's all about the actual, you will be able to relate yourself to this, especially over the last 5 months, especially the certain sadness and trouble and restraint perhaps caused by others, you know, that made you feel a kind of loss, made you feel like these feelings of loss of faith and things like that. You know, you will be able to relate to this like there is no tomorrow. And this is important, you know, because sometimes even if things hurt a little bit, even if things are negative, even if things makes us sad, you know, it's better to know what these things are, and it's better to face them, you know, to face your fears, to face your negativities, because that's the only way forward, that's the only way out of it. And this is exactly what is going to happen to you here. Not only that you're immediately going to have a certain idea, but most importantly, this is going to bring you a rather balancing energy, and that in itself is going to bring you harmony, and that harmony is going to make you to stand firm on the ground. And most importantly, it's going to highlight exactly what you should be devoted to. On the 5th of October 2021, and in between the 5th of October and the 15th of October 2021, it's all about this devotion. It's all about loyalty, but towards your own specific kind of like goals in your life. Which services you need to kind of like which services in your life do you need to kind of put more efforts towards? You know, it's all about this specific goal that I'm talking about. It's all about you putting more effort towards the specific goal. This is going to be obvious, and this is going to be important, and this is going to be very, very significant for you indeed. The second important date, my gorgeous Taurini, it's actually going to be on the 15th of October. Now, the 15th of October, it's like, oh my God, this is a very important day, and you may not even realize how important this day is actually going to be until you get there. First of all, you're going to become aware of a very important outcome in your life, something that you have been waiting for, but you kind of maybe didn't expect to happen at this moment and this time. Something is going to happen slightly quicker, something is going to happen slightly sooner, and that's wonderful. And it's nothing unusual, because it's all about your own spiritual shortcut that you are going to have at the same time, at the time of feeling so deep and so insightful when it comes to feelings of psychic feelings, you know, intuition and things like that. So it's all about the actual and important outcome that you're going to become aware of, like things that you have been doing and working on, but also it's about you finding yourself on an advanced stage. You know, this is important because now it's going to also start the process of a much needed culmination, and that in itself is just going to basically help you like to kind of with a balance with your own self, and it's almost immediately going to make you realize something so important is this conclusion that you are going to have. Very important conclusion that you are approaching the end of the very annoying and very difficult and very heavy and very sad and very dark and energetically problem. Very important indeed, you know. And on another hand, even more so, something very unexpected is actually going to happen. And what is going to happen in an unexpected way? It's all about the actual realization where you have like the unlimited, that you have a certain possibility, you know, to do. You will be able to do something, but you're going to become aware of the unlimited possibilities, and that is going to help you grow like there is no tomorrow, and give you the power, give you the force, give you the energy to abandon the part of your life, you know, that no longer serve you. So don't focus on negativity, don't focus on negative people, don't focus on negative situations, because it's only draining your energy. This is very important part of your progress and process, because it's going to pay off really later, really nicely later on. So it's about this abandonment that you're going to have, but also at the same time, you know, it's all about an important progress from the actual successful from a hard work, you know, that you're going to become aware of the 15th of October. And this is all going to happen at around the same time, and it's at around a similar time, and it's absolutely brilliant, you know, because it's going to help you with your own confidence, your own self-esteem, but also on another hand, very, very important dealings. You're going to have such a powerful dealings, like, oh my God, you're going to be talking to somebody, it's to do with the dealings, but you just need to remember to stick to your guns and put your foot on the ground, because that other person is not necessarily bad, but they will try to kind of like maybe mend things a little bit. So you just need to kind of stick to your guns and just stay on the ground very firmly. However, you are going to have a ridiculously successful dealing in between the 15th of October and the 31st of October 2021, which means that on another hand, you know, if you do need to have a dealing or an important discussion or anything like that of this nature, to do it from the 15th, between the 15th and the 31st of October, but the energy is going to be very powerful for the actual dealings on the 15th, 16th, 17th and 18th of October 2021. On another hand, you know, you're going to become aware of the reorganization. Very important reorganization that you should most certainly not wait for. But this is the time of transformation, and this is the time when you should be clearing away the old to make a way for the new. It's all about the alteration, but then at the same time, you know, it's about like the fact that whatever you kind of like feel to do, you should just do it in terms of change, in terms of like redoing things, even if it's to do with your own home, even if it's like changing the curtains, even if it's like changing the, I don't know, plants, you know, whatever comes to you, you should just do it. This is a very powerful time, so whatever you set your mind on, you are just gonna kind of allow your energy to become so much more magnetic, and it's not only going to re-energize you, but also something very important is gonna come to you, some kind of realization that you wouldn't normally have. And this is what your own energy is doing when you're doing things correctly with such a powerful flow of energy, because it always rewards you, you know, and it doesn't even happen that long after, you know, this specific moment or situation that I'm talking about, because this is the time of your own transformation that is actually starting on the 15th of October 2021. The third date, my gorgeous Taurini, it's actually going to be on the 31st of October 2021. Now, this is nothing unusual. This is a powerful day, Samhain. Halloween, some call it Samhain, but this is a very powerful day. It's not only the 31st, but it's the 1st, 2nd and the 3rd of November. All these days are really powerful and they're all very important, so most certainly you should be kind of looking for the signs, and you should be kind of like paying attention to what you're thinking about, what is on your mind in particular. There are going to be all sorts of signs that you are going to have, but you in particular, you are going to have somebody who is going to come from the other side. You're going to have the spirit who is going to come through. You're going to have a spirit who is going to come forward, and that spirit is going to have a very important and powerful message for you. And what more so, there is going to be such a strong connection with the spirit, and this is nothing unusual, because the veil in between this world and the spirit world is very thin at the time of Samhain, of course, or Halloween, you know, like for example. So the veil is very, very thin. The veil is always thin, but it's much thinner at this time, so which means that the spirits are really floating through, coming backwards and forwards, but in particular those spirits who have been connected to us, who are connected to us still, and who have been connected to our lives. So this person is going to come through, the spirit is going to come through, and they are going to have a very important message for you. And you know, it's going to happen at around the time when you are going to have a bit of a hermit mode as well, on the 31st of October, and it could be like 29th, it could be like a 30th, 31st, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. You know, within these 5 days, the spirit is going to come through. But the actual hermit moment that you are going to have, it's going to start on the actual 31st of October. This is important, because when I say hermit moment, and if it's happening at the time of the Samhain on the 31st of October, this is going to be mind-blowing big mama moment indeed, because this self-realization, first of all, you're going to be drawn down. It's going to make you feel like, oh my my God, weird. And you're going to be going down more and more and more, and you're going to start feeling weirder and weirder and weirder. You're going to start feeling more bizarre, more strange and more unusual. You will probably go out and it's going to be like different dimension, like there is no tomorrow, but you're just going through it, you're just sailing it through like really nicely and really easily, because you will feel at the same time that this is different. But what my point is, the more you're drifting that down, the more powerful, mind-blowing, absolutely outstanding realization you're actually going to have. Something is going to come to you through this moment of self-illumination, like so much, so powerful, and it's just going to really pinpoint you in particular what you're in self-denial about. You have to give more credit to yourself, because you're special people, you're very powerful, you're very spiritual, you're anything but selfish, you're wonderful people, and people in your life mean to you so much. You're very smart, you're very emotional, and you're very spiritual at the same time as well. So you just need to understand that sometimes you just need to give more credit to yourself. But what is going to come through, it's actually, first of all, what you're in self-denial about. This is important to pay attention to, like, why am I not doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? This is really important. But on another hand, what is also going to come to you is basically what do you need to do in order to avoid a conflicting influence, in order to avoid conflict, in order to avoid conflicting influence, you know, and in order to avoid the actual tower. So this is so important, and that spirit, you know, this is so significant, because you're almost going to have like a little vision that you wouldn't normally have, and this is so important. And those things that I mentioned before are about the spirit in your life, somebody who used to know you, somebody who used to be in your life, who's going to appear within this within these days, like in particular 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd of the actual, you see, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, all this day from the 30th of October until the 3rd of November, important when it comes to this spirit. So it could happen at any time, really, but it's up until the 3rd of November. But what the spirit is actually going to do, it's a very strong connection with this conflicting influence, you know, with this danger that you're going to become aware of, and the danger of this tower. And that spirit is just going to guide you. It's going to become your guiding light. So you will see that spirit appeared at the right moment, at the right time, and it's going to guide you towards the situation that no longer serve you, but in the best way to avoid this conflict and a little bit of tower. It is all going to make sense to you, because you need to pay attention to, at the time, what you have been thinking about when you become aware of this spirit. How did you become aware of this spirit? How did you feel when you became aware of this spirit? What was on your mind? What is bothering you? You will feel a very strong connection the way this spirit is going to communicate to you and try to like kind of let you to not to be misguided. This is very important indeed. On another hand, you know what, the 31st of October, by the end of the day, when it comes to the 31st of October, not related to this anymore. It's about the hope that you're going to have, and it's all about the inspiration. Do not ignore this inspiration, because it's going to be life-changing. It's about the actual bright prospects that you're going to become aware of, but then at the same time, it's like a very much so mixing the past and present. So there is a little element from you from the past that is just going to jump in and say, hello my darling, don't forget about me. But this is important, because it means karmically that you are reaching a very significant stage, very significant point. So this is all about the optimism and satisfaction, pleasure and happiness that you're going to feel. It's going to be absolutely undeniable. So you must not ignore this whatsoever. Okay, what else I was going to recommend you, my gorgeous Torini, would be like a dry sage indeed, because the month of October is like probably one of the most powerful months when it comes to the energies, when it comes to different dimension, when it comes to us having a long hermit moment, but when it comes to us realizing so much about our lives, so much about what we didn't realize before. We are kind of like we have the power to see the bigger picture, you know, but also to respond to it much quicker, much sooner, subconsciously, spontaneously, you know, so you just need to let yourself go. But at the same time, it's very important to try to smudge your home with a dry sage. You see, this baby is huge, and you just basically burn it. You walk around the home with a little sauce underneath. You could go into every single room, you can chant a little bit, you can pray a little bit, you can say affirmation, you just do, you can talk to your angels, talk to your spirit guides, you just do it the way you feel, the way you think is the right way and think to do it for you. But most certainly close all the windows and open all the windows at the end, and then as the smoke goes out, you know, the negative energy goes away. This is not only going to be important for your environment, but it's also going to be important for your own spirituality, because a couple of days later you're going to feel remarkable after that. So if you would like to buy this gorgeous dry sage, is huge. The link is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel, my gorgeous Taurinis, as well. I have to say that. So now I'm just going to see what is going to happen, what to pay attention to in the first part of October, mid part of October, and the third part of October. What to pay attention to. So the first part of October, do not ignore, especially the first 8 days of October. You know, you're gonna feel like, oh, the need to move on, and this is wonderful. It's like a blessing, it's like a God's gift that you're actually going to feel. You need to move on, because almost immediately when you come to terms with the specific situations in your life that you want to change, at the same time you need to realize that you will want kind of more from life than you're experiencing. That's absolutely brilliant, and you are going to find yourself on a spiritual quest. So most certainly you should choose to make life changes, but that in itself is going to kind of make you realize that you need to kind of pay attention to which priorities you need to change and which priorities you need to pay attention to. Okay, the mid part of October, it's about just remember that this is a lot to do with an inspiration, new beginning. Your destiny and fortune are going to play an important part here, but just remember, mid-October is going to bring you brilliant ideas, but they are going to need a little bit of a refinement later on. You know, you're about to overcome obstacle, and this is important because it's all about you remaining objective, but at the same time you need to remember, mid-October it's more important than ever to communicate as clearly as you possibly can. Another thing I was going to recommend you, my gorgeous Taurinis, of course, is going to be the chakra, this gorgeous chakra pendant. This comes with a beautiful, like a chakra crystals, and also gorgeous sterling silver setting in the sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel, I have to say that. But the chakra pendant is something really important to have throughout the months of October, November and December in particular, because it has got this power to keep your energy really powerful, to keep your energy afloat, to actually raise your vibration, to keep you grounded. By raising your vibration and keeping you grounded at the same time, you know, it's very important when it comes to inspiration, when it comes to confidence, when it comes to self-esteem, when it comes to us feeling re-energized, but also like giving that important credit to ourselves, so we stay on top of things at the same time. Okay, so this is something I would highly recommend you to get, my gorgeous Taurinis, and as I said, the link is in the description below. The third part of October is just basically, you see, this is really important. Because there is somebody, you know, somebody is just who you can, maybe you will be worrying about somebody, maybe I can trust this person, I can't trust this person, and things like that, but you will kind of realize that you can actually trust this person, and this is going to be a very big answer to you, kind of answered at the end of October. But then again, keep important things to yourself, you know. But on another hand, that specific person is going to play an important role, because in the really bizarre and strange way, that person is kind of gonna open your eyes, and it's not even going to be completely kind of directly, it's going to happen indirectly. You're going to hear something from that person, through that person, but it's going to bring you very specific information, and it's all going to make sense, but you're going to find it really, really beneficial indeed. Okay, some kind of missing information that is just going to open your eyes even more and confirm something very, very personal, very strange, and very bizarre, but very true to you. Okay, so now my gorgeous Taurinis, I'm just going to see what is going to happen to those of you who are in relationship. You know, la, you see, your partner is really going to inspire you, and your partner is going to have a very good news when it comes to something that they have actually been working on so much, so hard, and it was very intense, and maybe something like it took slightly longer, but now your partner is going to have a really, really good news when it comes to this, and that is going to reflect on both of you, of course. So now it's just all about the actual confidence. You're both going to find yourself being very stable, you know, in your life. Perhaps you were worrying a lot, perhaps you were like kind of thinking about maybe certain negativities, which is nothing unusual at this time. You know, there is a lot going on, so it can take our vibration and energy from us, you know. It can drain us like there is no tomorrow, so we just have to stay on top of things. But most certainly, my gorgeous Taurinis, it's about the stability. Now it's time, because something is going to happen, something good, something brilliant, through all this confidence and self-esteem, and suddenly you're going to become aware, both of you, about this vision when it comes to your own future, when it comes to your future planning. There is a very important decision that you are both going to make, but it's pretty much so to do with a certain wish, something that was on your mind over the last 8 to 9 months, but on another hand it's to do with a new plan. So you see, on one hand it's to do with a new plan, but on another hand it's to do with like something that you attempted before, but now you're just going to change things the way you go around. So that it's all coming from this confidence and the fact that you're still going to have uncertain efforts around it, but you're just going to feel so driven. So most certainly you should go for it, my gorgeous Taurinis. You should do it, because this is going to be brilliant for you. Okay, so for those of you that are single and ready to mingy, my gorgeous Taurinis, I'm honestly seeing stranger in the night, da 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 da, Taurini in the morning, na 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 na, stranger in the night, Taurini in the morning, stranger in the night, Taurini in the morning. Wonderful. I can see some kind of new beginning happening. Do you know what? There are so many different elements that are going to change. There's so many different elements that are going to happen with so many different aspects of your lives. The bottom line is that you are going to find yourself like kind of being very enthusiastic. One particular day, at around the 11th of October in particular, you're going to find yourself being like super enthusiastic, and this is the time to pay attention to what is making you feel so good, what is making you feel so brilliant, and you are going to find yourself being on the little road when it comes to the actual changes in your life, you know. And this is pretty much so to do with the next step, next stage, but at the same time something really interesting is going to happen, and it's going to kind of remind you of something that you should be doing, something that you used to do, and that in itself is going to open your eyes, and it's like redirect you slightly. And most certainly at the same time there is going to be like some kind of something on your mind that you should be going somewhere, you should be doing something, like maybe going to the certain place, maybe to reconnect with a certain people, maybe to try to go to some kind of place. Whatever is going to happen, at the same time you need to remember this is a bit more to it, because there is a very powerful spiritual omen that you are going to have at the same time, and that omen is going to direct you. This is very important, because what is going to happen, you're going to start going somewhere, you're going to make a decision to go somewhere, whether this is for the first time or whether this is the continuation. This is what is going to bring you very close to somebody very special in your life, my gorgeous Taurinis. This is someone very special, very significant, and somebody that you have been waiting for a long time indeed, because it's going to help you to feel so much happier with every single aspect of your life. But I repeat that at the time when you're thinking about it so intensely, about this reconnection, about a certain place that you will go, you may not even be aware of that this is where this person is going to kind of appear. But I'm just telling you and preparing you that this is going to be important, because you are going to become aware of some kind of omen that is going to come to you. And that omen, you know, in the form of like a little bird, you know, that is actually going to confirm this. Or maybe it's going to be like a little dog, you know, bird or a dog or a cat. One of these three animals is going to be very powerful omen to you, and it's going going to confirm that basically what you were thinking about, it's going to be very interesting and very intense. And then at the same time, some kind of good influential person in your life is going to be playing a role. And when you come across that person who I'm talking about, that person may not even like kind of appear necessarily in front of you in October, but most certainly in November it's going to be like huge. But you will see, as soon as you kind of see that person, as soon as that person appears in front of you, you will know exactly who I'm talking about, because there is another omen, another sign that you are going to have. So you will be yet again reminded that this is most certainly indeed somebody very, very special who is about to walk into your life. Okay, my gorgeous Taurinis, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love every single one of you. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light. So I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you, my gorgeous Taurinis. Thank you ever so much for watching my videos. Sasha Bonasin, Psychic Medium. I love you. Bye.